I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, what are we doing here?
I don't know, man. This is really, really exciting. This was born out of a run that we had around the Rose Bowl a few months ago, and we were talking about podcasts and the way it's kind of fragmented, and some people are taking their passions and turning into a podcast. And we were discussing Top Chef, our favorite show, and we were like, let's just record a podcast because we're already discussing it for 30 minutes. Why don't we just hit the record button?
Yeah, I mean, basically the premise is we are 2 sports writers who follow Top Chef the way fans follow our sport, the NBA. We love the storylines. We love the X's and O's of the preparation in the kitchen and the execution. We love the personalities. We love the game theory. And we're going to cover season 15 of Top Chef, which premieres, I believe, on Thursday, December 7th. We're going to do an episode recap like it's Game of Thrones, like it's The Wire, like whatever it is that you listen to. And we're going to essentially approach this fantastic competitive reality show the way you might follow the NBA or the NFL or your favorite sport.
Yeah, and we're going to add another layer of fun and intrigue and a little bit of skin in the game. We're going to do a little bit of fantasy, kind of like...
Explain this one.
So fantasy draft on Top Chef is something that my wife has done with me. We watch the show. We love it. Turns out like she had her guys and girls. I had my guys and girls. And we were like, why don't we just, in the next season, just draft? We watch one episode. We get a little feel for all the contestants. We get a little, we know who we like, who we don't like. And we would just alternate drafting contestants. And then we had a scoring system. If you place in the top 3, you get a point. If you win the whole competition, you get X points. And it made it so much more fun. So in the way that if you don't watch NFL football, but you kind of like hanging around with your buddies and making a little social aspect of it, there was fantasy football or whatever. There's fantasy everything now. And I thought Fantasy Top Chef is just tailor-made for the show because there's competition, there's personalities, and there's a little bit of gamesmanship, right? There's a lot of like, okay, this person comes from a really strong background, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do the whole 30 minutes on a timer, 15-minute on a timer, producing a great meal. So there's a lot of that. And I just feel like it'd be perfect for this show.
It's one of the great debates of the show, right? Like, I mean, one thing I always wonder
who's going to win it all, right? Yeah.
Well, and even beyond that, like, so I feel like it's this very specific skill. It's sort of like in our business, you know, we know amazing sports writers, but this is the sports this is the cooking equivalent of, can you file 500 words at the buzzer irrespective of what happened in the game, and can they be coherent and read like a story? And I always wonder, like, the thing about Top Chef that's interesting, and you know, I've talked to other chefs about this. If you lined up the 16 contestants on a show and said, okay, you've got 2.5 weeks to prepare a feast, and you judge them at the completion of that feast, would the order be the same as a Top Chef season? In other words, is a chef who just cannot, because I can't do, I mean, Tom, you and I cook, I can't do shit in 15 minutes. When I see what these chefs do in a QuickFire challenge, like essentially create this thing. I mean, it's basically like watching LeBron. Like, not only can I not do it, I can't even conceive of having the biomechanics to do it. Like, I can't beat a fucking egg in 15 minutes.
It's crazy. I always feel like maybe we can bring on some contestants and bring them on the show, this podcast, and ask them, is it 15 minutes or do they just add an extra 5? Like, is it 15 minutes? Is it a soft 15 minutes? Because there's no way that these people – like, I feel like there's got to be so many more examples of people when Padma says, hands up, utensils down, that they didn't complete their meal.
No, I know. It's like you watch that thing. There's like 30 minutes on the clock, and then Padma comes around and says, oh, what do you made for us today? And he's like, oh, I did a 4-hour braise in 30 minutes. Like, it does underscore – I mean, that actually it's funny because I think – the quick fires are where I have the greatest appreciation for the talent, just because, again, like, I do okay in my kitchen. I'm getting better. I'm proud of some of my work, but like at the end of the day, it takes me to do any kind of meal that's worth doing. I mean, with some possible exceptions, you have some of those hack meals that, like, you know, you can make in 30 minutes and they'll be really good. But by
PB&J.
Yeah, or just like, you know, like anything with an egg or you know, whatever. But it's But I'm just I'm always amazed. You got a favorite season?
I was thinking about it today. A favorite season, without going with recency bias, because that's the last few seasons, what you kind of think of.
You can go with recency bias if you want.
You know what? I'm going to go with season 4. I think season 4 is when I fell in love with the show. My wife and I, we were dating at the time. I think it was 2007, 2008. And it was kind of our show.
Wait, season 4, I believe, was Chicago.
Sorry, season 5. Season 5. Season 5 was that was Fabio year, right?
Yeah,
Stefan and Fabio was
season 4 was actually season 4 was a very sneaky good season because I think it was Chicago. It was the first season where the depth of talent really revealed itself. Like, there was no restaurant war, which I did not like. They did like a wedding instead. But there was good tension. There was like just enough assholery. There was nice gender parity for the first time, I thought. That was the Stephanie Izzard season. And Richard Blaze, I think, was the runner-up along with Antonia. So that was a really good season. But you're a season 5 guy.
Season 5, Fabio and Stefan, buddy cop, just they were going at it. It was a great season in terms of characters on the show.
Fabio had my favorite line in the history of Top Chef.
Which was?
This is not Top Scallop. This is Top Chef.
And you did that. Did you throw in his Italian accent in there too?
Right. It was just perfect because, I mean, first of all, I love it for 2 reasons. A, it was just like one of the, you know, kind of the great takedowns of all time. But B, also I related because I like, if you come to my house 10 times, you will get a scallop at least 5 times. And
7 times. I've been to your house. I think you've cooked me scallops. I would say it's a 7 out of 10.
So I mean, scallops are great because like everybody figured out in the last 15 years, they're just delicious raw. So you can do a crudo, and crudos are sort of the secret weapon in one's cooking repertoire because it's, if you get good fish and you cut it well, it's ridiculously easy to do. One of the reasons, like Jeremy Reed, who I think won one of the seasons, still got a little shade from Tom, like, oh, another crudo. So scallops are great because they're great raw and you can do cool things with them. Just a little acid. It works wonderfully. And pan-seared scallop is the easiest elevated food you will ever make. Like, you just have to find something to put it on top of, like a puree or a good vegetable or something.
The guy you're talking about is Jeremy Ford. And
Jeremy Ford. Did I say Jeremy Reed? I meant Jeremy Ford. I'm sorry.
Jeremy Ford he has a new restaurant in Miami called Stubborn Seed, and he was called Crudo Bro by our friend Fraud Nezer, who does Miami Food for Thought. One of the best food writers in America, Fraud Nezer, in Miami, calls him Crudo Bro because
by the way,
he is a bro.
Crudo Bro can cook for me anytime. You know why? Because raw fish is awesome,
delicious,
and it's healthy. Like, I would eat 4 pounds of crudo and call it a night. Like, I got no problem with Crudo Bro.
I am an absolute. I love acid, and so when you combine the fresh fish and the acid, the citrus. All of it is, Miami. We both, for those who don't know, Miami was where Kevin and I got to be great friends. The food scene in Miami was fantastic.
Always been fantastic. Love eating in Miami. Good high-low action, too, because you got the great ethnic joints. You got, like, the best jerk. There's Haitian food, lots of Jews, so you get that kind of situation. Obviously, the Cuban stuff. And then there's, like,
Kevin, you brought me
seafood.
to – we were the only white people for, like, 10 square miles, I want to say, when you took me to Chef Tally's. You're not white?
No, but
you're tan?
I mean, I don't know. Like a larger conversation of identity we won't get into. But you've eaten a lot of Jeremy Ford food, haven't you?
Yes. Jeremy Ford, he actually did a dinner, like kind of you pay like $50 and you go and eat a meal from a chef. It's kind of the new thing to do in America is to pay like a ticket, almost like going to a game, but you're getting a Jeremy Ford Crudo masterpiece, right?
We're actually –
and
we're going to have one of those chefs who specializes in that format on this show at some point.
Yes, I'm excited for that. And he's great, and he plays the crowd. He's a great, just a great presence, and that's probably why he was such a fan favorite on the show. Top Chef is he's a lot of fun, and I feel like when we do this draft, Kevin, I'm gonna pick a lot of people probably because I'm emotional about it, and you know me, I'm not an emotional guy when it comes to analysis, but on this show, the senses really get to me. So maybe if a guy is a complete clown on the show, but he actually isn't really good at cooking, I'm probably going to vote for that clown because it's entertaining.
I interrupted you, though. You were talking about season 5. And I got
season 5. Yes, season 5. Hosea won that season. I didn't think he really had it from the get-go. I didn't think like that was one of those seasons where you're totally blindsided by the victor. Actually, today I was at breakfast with a murderer's row of sports writers. Jonathan Abrams from the BR Mag, formerly the New York Times, and Grantland. Joe Posnanski from just about every publication you know, one of the best writers in the country, just so happens to write about sports. He also was joined at the table with Tommy Tomlinson, the four of us. Tommy Thompson, a great magazine writer. 4 of us were discussing Top Chef. And apparently they're all huge fans of Top Chef, except for Tommy.
It totally appeals to sports writers. It's really interesting.
And Paz was like, that season 5, that was Fabio and Stefan and Carla. Carla won that season. And I said, yeah, Carla won that season.
Well, she came in second.
She didn't win that season. The guy, Hosea, was so forgettable as the winner that I thought it was Carla. We both were convinced it was Carla. It turns out that it wasn't. It was Fabio, Stefan. It was Carla. That was what was memorable of that season. Great character. It's
very funny. If you want a true sense of sort of the surprise factor, I don't know if you've done this, Tom. One of my absolute dork pleasures in life when I'm tooling around the internet is to go. Have you been to like the Wikipedia Top Chef pages, like by season?
Yes.
There is a grid at the bottom that is color coded. It has an entire grid of each contestant, like in order of finish, down one axis. The other axis is episode, and each box is marked by color. If they won the episode, they finished in the top 3, in the bottom 3, if they were just kind of in the inside. And it is a fascinating examination because what it shows you is, I mean, you can kind of see dominance. You can also see like Fabio had, probably like 4 wins, 2. I mean, you get a sense of the dominance and whether or not there was. Like, there is something very fluky about Hosea because he had like 4 bottom 3 finishes in the first 12 episodes. I mean, basically, any given time you turn on the TV, there was a 1 in 3 chance he was going to be on the chopping block. So he's sort of, I'm trying to think of the equivalent here, like the NBA.
He's the Dallas Mavericks.
He's the 2011 Dallas Mavericks, yes.
They just got into the playoffs and they just won at the best time possible. They got hot and they took down powerhouses along the way.
Like, he hadn't won an episode since week 6 when he won in week 14. Had not even won. Had actually had 3 bottom 3 finishes and only 2 top 3 finishes. 0 wins when he won. And you look at Stefan's grid. Dude had won 5 of the first 11 episodes. Had another 2 top 3. And it's just, I love the grid. I could stare at the grid all day. My favorite season actually was season 10, which I think was Vancouver. I'm certain it was actually Vancouver. And that was the Kristen Kish.
Yes.
And so here's what I loved about that season is, first of all, she lost in Restaurant Wars, one of the most controversial eliminations in the history of Top Chef. An elimination that the judges even later, like in the press or whatever, conceded was just patently unfair. She grinds her way back through Last Chance Kitchen, to get back to the finals, which I think were in Alaska. Sheldon and Brooke probably are 2 of the best runner-ups runners-up that we've ever seen. I like that Kristen, Brooke, and Sheldon kind of represent kind of like 3 different table legs of American cooking at this moment in time. You had Josh, the wax mustache and beard guy from Texas, who goes out on foie gras torchon. I mean, who does that in one day?
Someone who has a lot of
balls
cojones
to go out on foie gras torchon. So give it up for the guy. Meanwhile, there's enough assholery because he and the other dude from Texas, John, who I think was a returnee last season, are constantly going at. So you get you get tension. And like, Kristen's just a wonderful chef. Kristen Kish, I love her game. She's a beautiful technical chef. I love technical chefs. Nothing wrong with Isaac, the guy from Louisiana who's going to make you a big etouffee and just throw everything in a goddamn pot. There's a part of me that loves that, but I love a good technical chef. I love her. I'm also, a big thing of mine is this is like my boyfriend and I, this is a constant battle. Like if we're going to get one dessert, he's going to invariably want the chocolate gooey, molten lava, dark chocolate thing with ooze of chocolate topped with chocolate whipped cream or some shit
on a plate of chocolate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whereas I'm like Kristen will come out with a matcha goat milk custard, or some elevated pound cake with like a lavender, and see, that's my jam. So I'm a huge season 10 fan. Just thought they structured it beautifully and great tension. Just really top line talent.
Well, Kevin, chefs. I want to ask you about this because this was one of the great controversies of the season of the entire show, Top Chef, the whole empire. The Kristen vote off will go down as maybe the most controversial moment of the show because of this little game theory factor, which is she had won 3 out of the 4 previous rounds, crushing it. And then she was voted out in that Restaurant Wars. When you're Tom Colicchio and you're at the judges table, should you have the Men in Black mind eraser and forget about your previous accomplishments and just right here, right now, this dish, I am going to be grading this dish. Do you think you'd be able to do that, to separate what you did in the past to analyze the now?
I mean, that's a really good question because, first of all, it prompts the question, should you? Should you be able to carry your previous reputation? In other words, it's a great academic debate. Do you just look at the text, or do you consider the text in a larger cultural historical context, right? Like here's Kristen. She shows up at the chopping block on week 11 in Restaurant Wars. She has 0 bottom 3 finishes, right? She has 4 wins out of 9 opportunities, another top 3. I'm looking at the QuickFire challenge. That was the year that, you remember Kaneko?
Yeah.
She did really Actually, no. She was bottom 3. I'm
Well,
looking
Kaneko
at
won. Kaneko, by the way, little side note here: 43% of all Top Chef winners won their first elimination challenge.
You're kidding.
Think about that. I did the math.
So wait. Let me get this straight. In other words, basically what you're saying is when we tune in on December 7th, the person who wins the first elimination challenge historically has a 43% chance of winning the whole show?
It is 6 out of the 14 seasons. No. The first elimination challenge predicted the winner.
So when we draft, that person is just the best percentage play. Like that, no matter who they are, no matter what biography they arrive with, that is it. But no, I mean, I think that's a really good question. I mean, it's sort of in the NBA, like, does DeMarcus Cousins get dinged more because he has a reputation, right? Even though the play is the play, right? There's either contact or there's not contact. If somebody is at fault, you should be able to kind of pixelize the faces and bodies and not know who it is, and it's the same basketball play. I mean, I'm sort of for considering past. Me too. I think that if you've basically kicked ass, you should get a slight benefit of the doubt. I think that's human. But, I mean, had that ever happened?
Because ultimately
before?
we want to see the juggernauts go at it. We want to see at the top of the mountain that it is the heavyweights, right?
I don't want to see Josie. I want to see Kristen. I don't want to see Josie.
Sorry, Joe.
I like dynasties. I want to see the best people compete when I tune in on a Thursday night. But I mean, that was just a really good season. And anyway, I'm a huge Kristen Kish fan. And you said she had done some other show.
Yeah, she did. I'm hoping we can get her on this podcast because I have a connection. One of my friends, Kyle Martino, who Mark Stein, our friend Mark Stein at the New York Times, broke the news that Kyle Martino is now running for president of the United States Soccer Federation, or whatever you call it. Oh, and
they need some help, don't they?
They do. And he is a great candidate, one of the top analysts of soccer. He is the Gatorade High School Player of the Year across the entire country from Staples High School. Shout out to Staples High School. And I'm hoping we can use that connection. She did a show, 36 Hours on Travel Channel, where they go around the country and do 36 hours in that city.
I want that job.
That has you written all over it. I think we're only doing this podcast so that you can do that job one day. I think that's it. So, Kristen, let's get Kristen on the show. Kyle, you got to make it happen.
So those are those. You have any other other favorite chefs kind of over the years?
Well, I think ultimately Brooke, I think, is my favorite chef. Not necessarily the personality, but the best chef. And last year she came back. I don't know how you feel about the whole chefs coming back and competing against the rest, but to me it feels like, NBA players going back and playing in the NCAA tournament. It's like you just have a leg up on the rest of the competition.
I feel like it. I can't imagine there's a greater sort of advantage you can get than having done it before. I mean, the show is the parameters of each challenge. I mean, I suspect the learning curve between season 1 and 2 is enormous. I mean, more than season 2 and season 10 if you were to do it every single year.
Brooke, in terms of I want to eat her dishes, her meals, like I think she is my favorite chef that's been on the show. She lost at the last second to Kristen, and obviously she was a worthy winner of Top Chef. So she came back already having basically gone to game 7 at the last second, and so she is.
So she was basically the 2014 Spurs.
Yes, and that's exactly it. Coming back from the 2013 loss against the Heat, coming back and winning it all. She is the Spurs.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have any favorites?
Mei Lin, everything she did was magic. Like final dinner, congee with carnitas. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. There've been so many good congee dishes on the ship. Paul Key, different debate for a different time, right? Like whether you can appreciate somebody's food even if they're a bad actor. Did a congee with scrambled eggs, uni, kale, and smoked albacore, which is, I think, about as perfect as a dish is. I love Michael Voltaggio, I think. And I was a big fan of Inc. during its early years. I didn't enjoy it as much in its later incarnation. But I mean Jeremy Ford, just because that's my style of food. Just it's clean, fish oriented, all about it. I like Stephanie Izzard. I mean, I that sneaky good season 4. Richard Blaze. I mean, there was some really good chefs out of there as well. And
Can we just talk about
Kwame.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite contestant who's never made the top 4. And I mean, love everything he's about. Love, again, classically trained, but kind of brings in his heritage. Like, we'll do jollof rice and like goat okra stews, and then he'll roll out a roti, kind of a West Indian flair, but has worked at 11 Madison Park. My understanding is, I didn't see him on the contestant list, but I think, are they doing like by the way, can we just say that the Last Chance Kitchen is the greatest kind of wrinkle a show's ever introduced midway through its existence?
It's great because for all the people who are like, oh, I love that person, they shouldn't have gone home, you can still watch, and there's an added layer of competition. I just love the idea that you're staring down Tom Colicchio and he's the only voice in the room. He is so intimidating. I almost feel like that's even more intense. The Last Chance Kitchen, which is the consolation bracket if you get voted off the show, but the only judge is Tom.
Well, also, the other great thing about it is it's able to correct bad decisions, right? Like without Top Chef, Kristen doesn't win that season. It gives you a double elimination. I think it better ensures that the best talent ultimately is in the finale, which I'm always for. It's the difference between having single elimination NCAA or like best of 7, right? You want to ensure that the best talent gets there. But so is Kwame. He's not back, but he is, like, he's on the list. He's not on the list of Top Chef Colorado Cheftestants, but he is featured in the little picture gallery of people coming in.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking this up. There's a story right now that says Top Chef judges reveal curveball factor that will affect upcoming season 15. Ahead of the season 15 premiere of Top Chef, which is Thursday, December 7th, the judges of the beloved Bravo hit are previewing what fans expect as the competition heads to Colorado. The curveball is that they're going to have 4 people come back and go through the Last Chance Kitchen to be ultimately on the show. So does that mean that they're going to come on like in 2 months? I don't know.
I mean, is that they just feed into like a Final 4 episode, or that's interesting. We will find out.
Top Chef alums will be returning from previous seasons to compete for their own spot and redemption in the current season of the show. Judged by Tom Colicchio, the veterans will not just compete against themselves, but against new, just eliminated Cheftestants from the main competition in Colorado. So yeah, it sounds like they're just gonna they're gonna be in that consolation bracket. Marcel is on there. Wow.
Well, who else? I think Jen Carroll is also returning.
Total badass Jen Carroll.
Jen
Carroll is on. Kwame was my number 1 pick when I did the draft with my wife a couple years ago. Kwame did better than the other number 1 pick, Kwame Brown.
Crazy talented. Definitely the better Kwame prospect in the history of Kwame prospects in competition. Have you got a chance to look at the season 15 list of contestants? Any thoughts?
First thought, Connecticut. Yay! As a Connecticuteer myself, Kevin, we have a Connecticut contestant.
Connecticut has never produced a contestant?
That's right. I did the math here, and I shared with you the answer to this question before we came on. But
I got it right, did I not?
You got it right. The top five states who have never had a Top Chef contestant in its history of 14 seasons. You guessed it. For the listeners out there who want to play along, the answer is...
It was Ohio.
Yes.
Which
Ohio.
is, if you think about the big electoral college states that don't have... I mean, Cleveland does some decent food. I'm not as big a fan of Greenhouse Tavern as some. It's just really heavy, but it's good. But, in Cincinnati... It's funny. So you start thinking about those electoral states that don't have like huge culinary capitals, and that was sort of my thinking. But I mean, actually, the Midwest. I mean, one of my favorite NBA restaurants is in Indianapolis, Bluebeard. I've had great.
I've never eaten there.
If you do a Pacers game, not that you'll have any occasion to do Pacers anytime soon, but But blueberry is fantastic. I mean, one of the best NBA meals I've had in the last couple of seasons. I ate really well in Milwaukee this trip. My most recent trip to Milwaukee, which is.
Have you had a good meal in Phoenix?
Hello, listener. It's producer Mays here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's producer Mays here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
I did have a good meal in Phoenix.
Arizona is number 2 on the list of most populous states that do not have a contestant on Top Chef.
I went to Virtu, Virtu, in Honest Craft in Scottsdale, and had a pretty damn solid meal. Enjoyed it.
Well, Amin El Hassan says he can get me into Pizza Bianco.
Definitely do it. You know, it's funny. I went skeptically last year. Is it really worth the hype? It's really good. It's really, really good. It's just good at what it does. It's like, we've got these 6 or 8 pizzas. This is what we do. It's ridiculously affordable relative to eating in these kinds of places on the coasts. I like to go at 3 o'clock because it's empty, and it can be really hard to get into. And it is, it's really good.
So Connecticut is one of the 7 most populous states that do not have a Top Chef contestant. So this is a long time coming for Tyler Anderson of Simsbury, Connecticut. I actually haven't eaten there despite my roots in Westport, Connecticut. His restaurant is Millwright's Restaurant and Tavern. So I don't know his story or how he ended up in Connecticut, but I am rooting for that guy because he is a Connectiteer.
So Tyler Anderson opened a new restaurant in West Hartford I ate at about 10 weeks ago called The Cook and the Bear, which is, as is becoming customary everywhere in America, is a...
Wait, we both ate there. That was Tyler?
That was Tyler. I think The Cook and the Bear, that was him. You were there. You were at that dinner.
I was there. Yeah. The whole ESPN crew, all went out to dinner for the preseason meal at The Cook and the Bear. That's Tyler?
Yeah, that was Tyler. So, solid. I mean, I feel like we're now at a point in this country where there is just brisket raining down in the cities and villages of America. Like you can't throw a rock without. It used to be, if you wanted that very specific brand of barbecue, you would need to go to a Mecca, right? You'd have to tour Central Texas or go to down east North Carolina if you wanted vinegar based, or go to Memphis or Kansas City or whatever it is. And now these places, I mean, I think that we will look back at this decade as the trend of, oh, hey, every city has about 7 or 8 real smokehouses.
Well, I will say I was sitting across from Zach Lowe. I was with Brian Windhurst. We're all sitting at a table. We ordered like 3 rounds of that brisket. It was so fucking good.
It was good.
I'm not going to say it's like best in the country, but for a West Hartford, Connecticut restaurant, you would not expect that kind of fare there. And it was delicious. It was fatty. I like a fatty brisket. If I get a lean brisket, I'm just not interested. That's not why I come here. If it doesn't have that like black bark on the top and a layer of that gelatinous just top onto it, like I'm not eating that. I want the really juicy, fatty, black crust on the top. That is my ideal brisket. And so that chef, Tyler Anderson, is going to be one of the contestants on the show. But there is a big contingency from New York, from California, the more likely scenarios for all these contestants. But there is Laura Cole. Can we talk about this for a second? Laura Cole is coming from the Denali National Park, Alaska, and competing on the show.
Yeah, my scout says classically trained in the Northeast. I think she is a Northeasterner, but just kind of wanted to do one of those things where, look, I don't want to be in the meat grinder. I mean, go out and to a remote location. I can, locally sourced and products and vendors and stuff, and just kind of do my thing in the hinterland of Alaska. So I think it's a really interesting background. I'll be watching A couple chefs from Oakland. Tanya Holland has one of the great modern soul food restaurants in America, and Brown Sugar Kitchen, just a place that's really well regarded up in Oakland. There's also one of my favorite contestants here is Tu David Phu, who has done a series of Vietnamese pop-up dinners in Oakland. But my favorite biographical line ever for a Top Chef contestant, which is, he is the heir, or he is the son or grandson or great grandson of a fish sauce empire from Vietnam that is like 130 years old. Like he is the fish sauce heir, and so it has come from obviously a centuries old culinary background. Like, his people were sort of like, this stuff's great, let's just bottle it.
We should count the number of times that he uses fish sauce in his dishes. We should keep over under. Let's do it.
There's not enough fish sauce in food. I love fish sauce.
Over under on 2.5 dishes. I'm setting the over under at 2.5 dishes. And now this has to incorporate, is he going to last on the show? Because 2.5, not a really high number, but if he's only on for one episode, of course that's a high number. So
it's like being from like the Grenadine Empire, or like the I mean, it's just such a very specific thing, and yet you think about it, and fish sauce is enormous. I mean that is a cornerstone of Asian cooking. It would be like it'd be like being Heinz, a member of the Pennsylvania Heinz family or something.
Are you going to take the over or the under on this? I'm writing it down.
2.5.
Over under.
I mean, he's going to be using fish sauce. I mean, I'd say over.
You go over. I'll take the under just for fun.
And Bruce Kalman, who is the chef at Union in Pasadena, I'm watching very closely. Union is one of those chefs' restaurants, a place that culinary types in Los Angeles really respect, the kind of gourmands. Pasadena has historically been a food wasteland in Los Angeles, which is otherwise an amazing food city. A couple places have opened there in the last year. Lost at Sea, I'm a big fan of, and Union is right now I consider one of the better restaurants in the city, and particularly in Pasadena, which is desperately needed it. So I'm going to watch him because he's also got I think he's got Pasta Bar, a bread expert. So that should be a really interesting candidate to watch. I'll be doing that.
Brother Luck, great name.
Brother Luck. He is so he's the hometown hero, Colorado Springs, and he has won an episode of Chopped, which I think is important because going back to the earlier conversation, the nature of the bright lights and the ticking clock, I think that probably he won an episode of Chopped. So I think that's got to be a good credential.
Have you eaten in Denver before? Because I ate there once. Jonah Carey, great writer, covers baseball for CBS Sports. He recommended, as a Denver resident, Rioja. It was a great meal in Denver, downtown Denver.
Know it.
But this restaurant in Colorado Springs, or Four by Brother Luck, I've never eaten there. There's also another contestant, Carrie Baird, who is the executive chef at Bardot in Denver. Have you eaten there?
I am not. I mean, so when I go to Denver, there's a place that it used to be called Pinche Tacos, and now it's got a stupid name like Tacos, Whiskey, Tequila. I don't even know, but I think they do that elevated street taco as well as any place in America. I love Guisados here in Los Angeles, and I think they do a great job at that. But that's sort of, let's take street tacos and sort of elevate them and work with some different sauces and different braids. It's just one of those things where I go to that city, that's what I want, and that's what I generally do. I haven't really explored the Denver culinary scene at all. Like largely because I'll waste one of my meals on Pinche just because I love it.
Well, I went to Great Divide, which is a great brewery, one of the best beers out there. They produce it annually. Great Divide, anything by Great Divide in Denver, you're going to enjoy it. I'm a beer guy.
Are you a beer guy? You know, I've never done the beer thing. Of all the little weird culinary obsessions and everything else, like I'm not anti-beer. It's never been my thing.
It's why I run.
Okay.
It's why I run, because, I can have whiskey and that won't really pack on the pounds too much, but I just love a good beer. I love a good stout. I was in a fraternity in college, so I grew up on Busch Light. But then when I figured out in the South, it's either Natty Light, Natural Light, or Busch Light. And so once you're drinking Busch Light all the time, once someone hands you over like a Yeti Stout, you're blown away. It's like dessert. It's delicious. So Denver has the Great Divide. It's a great brewery in Denver. I've been to Rioja, but I gotta say, Kevin, I would stay away from the hometown favorites, the hometown heroes on Top Chef. I just feel like it's a little too much added pressure. Only LeBron James can win that.
Yeah, has there ever been, I mean, in your research, has any local ever actually won their city?
Oh, that's a good question. We should. I'm going to look into that.
We've got
for
several
episode
episodes to go. You can just put that one in the hopper. Any closing remarks before we go? I'm really looking forward to the draft. By the way, you need to come up with some score. I know you and Allison have kind of your scoring system. I do think there needs to be acknowledgement for bottom three and top three.
Yep.
And so I'm going to defer to you on a system of scoring.
Here's what I'll do. I'll come up with a system, a very loose system, just kind of the nuts and bolts. Then we can, iron out the cross your T's and dot your I's on the scoring system. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's have some skin in the game here, Kevin, because I feel like we've done a little bit of homework on the contestants. We haven't actually watched any of the show yet, but based on the bios, I'm wondering if you have a captain of your team where you look at a bio or just, you have a feeling, a gut reaction to their name, or whether it's, Brother Luck is a pretty cool name. Would you be
Brother
game?
Luck sounds like it sounds like a Wire character.
Yes. Well, Brother Mazone,
who reads like the New Republic and
wears a bow tie.
Brother Mazone is one of the great sort of bit characters in a procedural drama ever. Actually, Wire's not a procedural drama, please.
So I was wondering if you'd be game to pick a contestant here that you get double points in our scoring system. So you got to pick someone who you feel like is going to be long, who's going to stick around for the whole show. Would you be game to pick one just based on the bio?
Yeah. It's a tough one because if you kind of look at the profile of chefs that tend to succeed, I mean, Joseph Flamm would be an interesting one. He's an executive chef in Chicago at a leading Michelin star Italian restaurant, right? Like that's when it comes to pedigree, that's not a bad way to go. So in that respect, I would think going there, but I'm instead going to go to Bruce Kalman. I think he's just got there's just a lot of, I mean, I know it's local and it's union and whatnot, but he's a guy who's expert with pasta. He knows he can do desserts really well. So I think he's done like bread. So I just feel like that range of, I mean, he's basically has a very well-respected, established restaurant in a big city. He has training in a bunch of different culinary areas. So he's got a little 5-tool action there. So I'm going to go with Kalman, and I get to root for a local.
Hey, I have a feeling, Kevin, I'm on to you, man. I have a feeling that you got a tip. Being an LA guy, do you know Bruce?
I do not know Bruce. But if Bruce is listening, like I would love to come into your restaurant and be, given the royal treatment. Sure. I mean, yeah.
I feel like you might have gotten a tip from Bruce.
You know what's really funny? Having worked on a reality show before, like nothing is secret in this culture anymore. You cannot get information about like a reality contestant show that is taped in the last 6 months, and by all means, everybody's home. Anybody could talk. It is incredible that in this day and age, with Reddit and everything else, that somehow no one knows anything about this show. Like nobody knows who won. I mean, these people are out in the community. They're basically part of the elites. I mean, more people know them than they know people. Like it should, by all accounts, we should not have to work very hard to find out like who got eliminated, who won. But it is amazing. I don't know if it's those NDFs that they make them sign, but it's incredible how tight-lit people are.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it was I feel like in Miami we should have heard something. because it's a very popular place to have top chefs, and it's a very small community in Miami. Nina Compton was on the show. There's just been, Stubborn Seed is now a hot new restaurant from Jeremy Ford. Dale Talde, I think from season 4, was he? He has a restaurant in South Beach as well. And I feel like we should have heard something, but it never gets out. So maybe I like your alibi. You're going to take Bruce Kalman. I'm going to butcher his first name, no pun intended, Rogelio Garcia.
Good one.
He's born in Mexico City, raised in Los Angeles and Napa by a single mother. Rogelio Garcia began his culinary career humbly in high school as a dishwasher for a restaurant in Yountville. Soon after, he was cooking in Napa at Hurley's and Angele, spending his days off staging at Yountville Red and San Francisco's Michael Mina. But the thing is, he's the executive chef at one of the best restaurants I've ever eaten at. He's the commissary over on the Presidio.
Popular NBA site, by the way. Popular NBA restaurant.
How do you know that?
I just got it's a place that teams will go. Not necessarily the Spurs. I think they have been there, but it's a popular NBA choice when teams stay at the Four Seasons or those St. Regis in San Francisco.
What NBA teams go for? Is it just straight Italian? What's the most expensive Italian restaurant in the city? Boom, we're going there.
Listen, the Spurs rightfully put a premium on a dinner. But at the end of the day, it's very interesting. As much as we think, Pop's a big foodie, he is. But they kind of confine themselves to Northern Italian. They want to go to a place with good pastas, Northern Italian meats, and there's got to be a lot of good Brunello on the wine list. In other words, it's not like they're not going to the pop-up hot place or the tasting menu joint with molecular gastronomy or whatever else. Like by and large, they're pretty conservative in their palate in that respect. They're going to eat really well, but it's going to be 9 times out of 10 Northern Italian.
Well, I in Charlotte, Mike Dunleavy and we watched a Duke basketball game against South Carolina. And me as a weight guy, it was great to sit down and watch Mike Dunleavy watch his Duke Blue Devils lose in the tournament. And we sat down at Midwood Smokehouse here in Charlotte. And in walks in. He's asked me, he's like, is this the place to get barbecue in Charlotte? I said, yeah, it's a great place. In walks in Cody Zeller, the center of the local team. Still, after several years in Charlotte, he still goes to Midwood. So it's a legit spot. NBA players like to eat. If you're going to get barbecue, you're going to go to Midwood Smokehouse. And if you want fried chicken, you go to Bojangles. The other day, the Milwaukee Bucks.
I was just talking about Bojangles steak biscuit.
Oh, yeah.
When I went north, people didn't know that steak biscuit, such a thing existed. That is even if you go growing up in the South, on a road trip, a Bojangles steak biscuit is it's still to this day one of my favorite guilty pleasure foods that I probably don't eat more than twice a decade.
In college, we called it Bojangles. That is what you eat. A Cajun filet biscuit from Bojangles was a staple of the Saturday football game. So we get a tailgate. You just order a shit ton of fried chicken and biscuits. You get the coleslaw, the vinegar-based coleslaw. And I don't want this mayo, a soup of mayo with a couple cabbage slices thrown in there. I want the vinegary, the tangy, I don't usually like radicchio, but I like a little bit of there in that coleslaw. And look, Bojangles is a good spot for fried chicken. I actually think Popeyes is better. This is going to make me this is going to be heresy in Charlotte, but I actually like Popeyes better, just their chicken. I think the spices are just better. But the NBA players, they love them some Bojangles. Hassan Whiteside, who's from here in Charlotte, outside of Charlotte, every time he comes into town, he gets a huge batch of Bojangles fried chicken for the locker room, and the players love it. The other day, Milwaukee Bucks were in town. As Giannis Antetokounmpo is grabbing a very healthy meal after the game, Jason Terry just walks out with a giant bag of Bojangles. Jason Terry, who might be the oldest NBA player.
He's like, you know what? You're still playing in the league and you're 40 years old. You can eat whatever the damn hell you want.
Whatever I want. And Jason Terry just rolls out with the Bojangles because he knows. He knows what it's all about. It's always Bo time.
It is actually probably Charlotte, North Carolina's greatest contribution. Other than other than Harvey Gantt, whom I worked for in 1996. But Bojangles is, I think, probably Charlotte, North Carolina's greatest contribution to civilization.
That's right. And last year Jamie Lynch was a Charlotte. He's the chef behind Five Church here in Charlotte. He lived in the apartment complex that I lived in last year. I was walking my dog, Kevin. I was walking my dog outside right by 7th Street here in Charlotte. And I noticed this very tattooed guy, like he was wearing a T-shirt and just covered in tattoos. And I was like walking up to him like, that guy looks really familiar. I couldn't place it. Figured it out. He was walking his dog, Jamie Lynch, Mr. No Immunity, from the last season where he gave up his immunity after the QuickFire and then lost in the elimination challenge. He hashtags everything, #no immunity on Instagram because of such a bold decision. I mean, if you go down because you gave up your immunity, man, I would put that in every hashtag. I would probably tattoo it to my forehead. This dude, that is a ballsy move by Jamie Lynch to do the no immunity.
I don't think
thing.
nobility pays in this guy. It is the equivalent of like having 5 fouls. Ref whistles your teammate for a foul that you committed. You get that break and just raising your hand and saying, no, I'll take the 6th. I don't. It's nothing I can really support.
It's like in GoldenEye 007, the video game where you die, but they give you most honorable. And you're just kind of like, yeah, but I'm dead. It's like it wasn't. Let's say it took a lot of balls, partly because it was probably not the plus play. And as a guy who works in percentages and analytics, it probably wasn't the better probability. In fact, it was the worst decision because you have a free pass to the next round. And it was so late. I think that played into his decision, right? Is like, I'm so late in the game here, and if I get a free pass, that's not fair. So he gave it up. He lost. And I'm sure there's going to be some drama in season 15 just like that. Maybe we can get Jamie on the show to see if he regrets it because he still is playing it up big time.
Do you know what I'm looking at?
What are you looking at?
Bojangles Nutritional Information page.
Don't do it.
All right. Which has more calories? The gravy biscuit or the sausage and egg biscuit?
Okay, so I'm basing this answer off the fact that the McDonald's Egg McMuffin is actually not calorie packed. So in my head, I know the sausage egg McMuffin is different than the actual like Canadian bacon ham Egg McMuffin. I'm gonna go with the gravy biscuit. Has more calories. Am I wrong?
You are wrong. It is the gravy biscuit has 460 calories. The sausage and egg 580 leading the column, tied with the Southern Filet biscuit, which I actually don't know what the Southern Filet. I think it's the Cajun Filet. It's actually known as the Cajun Filet biscuit now. No, the Cajun Filet is 550. Someone needs to find out what the Southern Filet biscuit is. I cannot find it. And of course my steak biscuit, which is 570, which comes in second. I love the steak biscuit. I'm
pretty sure the Southern Filet is just like a fried chicken sandwich.
Is that
but
it?
They call it a Southern Filet because you can't just call it a filet. It's like when they say like the classic BLT instead of just calling it a BLT. It sounds boring. Or the classic hamburger instead of just calling it a hamburger, they're going to throw the classic in there to make it a little bit more appealing. So they call it the Southern Filet. I could be wrong, but the Cajun Filet is where it's at.
The Botato Breakfast Bowl has 1,212. Calories. Second only to the Jambalaya Bowl with biscuit, which is 1,260. I love Bojangles. I love you, Bojangles. I don't even care that I just uttered a 4-digit calorie count on one dish.
Well, I want to do one thing before we go.
Yes.
We tape this on a Friday, and it's gonna be put out early next week. The show comes out on Thursday, but here's a stat that I want to throw at you for when we actually watch the show. Keep it in mind. The Top Chef winner who won their season's first elimination challenge, 6 out of the 14 winners won their first elimination challenge. Think about that.
Wait.
43%.
So you're
of
saying
winners
that there is a 3 in 7 chance that if you, in other words, whoever wins this first elimination challenge next week basically goes on and has a 43% chance. The field only has a 57% chance, at least historically speaking. Is that what you're saying?
There's like 15 rounds a season, and if you win the first one, you're basically 1 out of 2 odds to go on to win the whole thing. So when you watch season 15, episode 1, keep an eye on who wins that first elimination challenge. There's the QuickFire in the beginning, which weeds out someone usually, and then they get immunity or they get a prize or they get a car or something like that. And then there's the elimination challenge where the top 3 are voted, and then the winner comes out of that top 3. The bottom 3 are voted, and then the loser comes out of that. But the winner of the elimination challenge, pretty good odds on winning the whole thing. So when we do our draft, Kevin,
that's who you're going for.
I mean, statistically, that is a pretty big
even if you have no affinity for style, culinary sensibility, or personality. You were going. I mean, that's the smart play. That
I mean, it's drafting the 7-1 guy because he's fucking 7-1.
Yes.
You know, I don't need to do any interviews. I just know that it's really hard to find a really good 7-1 guy who can play basketball.
That's amazing. All right, Tom, so, I'm really psyched for December 7th, and we will then be able to kind of officially, we will launch this thing and have some skin in the game, as you say.
I'm excited. Pack your knives and go. Yes, that is the show. I'm excited. The one thing I will say, Kevin, is I'm nervous about losing to you on this draft. I'm nervous. I feel like we have similar sensibilities on this, and you're going to pick a lot of my guys, but we'll save that for episode 2.
All right. Tom, it's a pleasure. This is Pack Your Knives.